Brandon, how would you grade Dak's performance yesterday?
Skip, I'm going to give him a B. Maybe a slightly B+, but I think B is very fitting for him because I don't think he played particularly.
Well, don't equivocate. Is it a B+ or a B?
I'm giving him a B.
I could lean in B+.
But when I wrote B down. Okay. I was like, no, he don't deserve B+. But anyway, I just think, Skip, the first half, he didn't play particularly well. I thought he held onto the ball a little bit too long. I thought he missed some throws. If you remember, he had a guy that was wide open, and he ended up grounding it. You remember Aaron Rodgers? You said Aaron Rodgers, he just tanked it. He just threw it in the dirt. Aaron said, the ball got stuck in his hand. You weren't buying that.
Thank you for comparing Dak to Aaron Rodgers.
No. There ain't no comparison. But anyway, I didn't think he played particularly well in the first half. I thought he held onto the ball at points and times during the game that he should sometimes skip. You just throw the ball away. It's okay. They got a stat for everything. If you throw the ball 5 yards, you throw the ball 10 yards, how far does the ball travel in the air? So they got a stat for everything.
They do.
So you can't get caught up in well, it's going to make me look bad if I throw it away and I ain't trying for a completion. But sometimes live to see another day.
Agreed.
You don't want to take all those shots.
Agreed.
Amari, the touchdowns, Amari did the leg work. Because if you look at what Amari did, 196 yards after catch compared to 289, he only had 92 yards of actual total pass yards. So, but I'll give him credit. I thought he made some pretty good throws. But I'm gonna give it the touchdown run was unbelievable. To break the 2 tackles, the dodge. Basically ran almost 35 yards to get a 4-yard touchdown, which was good. Which put him up 31? I think you said 31-13 at that point.
It was.
So I'll give him credit for that, but I'll give him a solid B because I think the first half he left some of the trimmings on the table.
Okay, hater number 2.
All right. As you know, I'm a adjunct professor at USC, so
I call it just a junk professor.
And resident Dallas Cowboy
when it comes
hater.
to grades, I'm very careful and I'm considerate and think about it.
Lord.
I'm going to give him a B+.
Wow.
And it's very hard for me to admit. But I'm going to give him a B+.
You're going to lose your label.
Well, I got to call it the way I see it. And I will give him credit. Considering where he had been the last couple of weeks, where they were winning basically without him. He had 1 touchdown in the last 2 weeks. And he has the big 2 touchdowns and the run. And I think it helps, even though Amari Cooper did all the legwork, it still opens up to where Dak says, hey, you got me a guy, I could utilize him, and he made it happen. Do you know what I mean? So I got to give him credit for at least that. And when you think about, it wasn't 350 yards or whatever, 289, but where he's always around 190 or 200, he looked like a functional quarterback who could win.
All right, so we got backhanded compliments at least on the quarterback, and quite frankly, here's part of the problem here. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. I know most people are probably out with their family and stuff, still away for the holiday. So thank you all for tuning in and everything else. I see Law Nation's in there because he's definitely looking at nothing but the best. And man, I got to tell you, Law, I can't wait to get to Dallas, man. You and Vosh look like you guys are having a ball with the Dallas Cowboy experience. And I hope if you have time that you can call in and join us tonight too, and talk about that experience. But here's the thing. It's funny because regardless of whatever happens with Dak Prescott, people will find an excuse to say, oh, well, that wasn't really him. That wasn't Dak Prescott. He made yards after the catch, so you can't count that. Why can't you count that? You guys realize that the great Joe Montana did not have a strong arm. But what he did was he hit Jerry Rice going across the middle, and it would end up being big yards. It may be a 6 or 7, 8 yard slant, but he takes it to the house for 50 yards, so he gets credit for a 50-yard pass play. And understand, some of those plays that Dak was making, like one of those pass plays when he is literally going down and gets the guy before it's considered a sack, the running play that he made in the end zone where he literally ran 35 yards weaving through traffic, getting the touchdown, and hitting. Because here's the difference, too. Here's a big difference in numbers. I'm going to tell you, he's hitting Amari Cooper in space. Some of these, it's a tight window. Some of those pass plays are a tight window. But he's getting confident in him. And he also came down with 8 out of 9 passes. Understand, 8 out of 9 passes to him, he came down with. How many times have we seen balls in guys' hands that are up here that have popped up and end up being an interception or a pick six, and everybody says, well, it's Dak Prescott. Because I see Wang Hu in here, of course. You give no credit to Dak Prescott, and believe me, there's EDP. What's happening, EDP? Are you going to take care of business against the Giants this weekend, or what? What's going to be up with that, man? Because your season is on life support. But you know what? I wish I was in your position. I'd be more than happy to take a loss this year if we had just won the Super Bowl. So I can't really talk much because it's been a long time for my team. But here's the thing. This team, and I say team, is never predicated on just one player. You need the 3 ingredients, the same 3 ingredients that the Dallas Cowboys have had all of their time that they've been good. The original triplets, they didn't call them that, was Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, and Drew Pearson. Then you had the triplets, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. And understand, a lot of Troy Aikman's passes, you remember Alvin Harper going across the middle on those slants for big plays? So when people say, oh, well, you know, it was just a 10-yard play. Yeah, it was a 10-yard pass play, but given to a guy where he can make plays. And Amari Cooper can make plays. David Irvin, Castro, supposed to be back this week coming up. Tyron Smith had a stinger. They kept him out of the game. He should be playing this week as well. So hopefully we'll be a little healthier. Has Michael, well, I haven't talked to Michael about Amari Cooper since before the game. Before it was like, nah, man, he wasn't worth the first-round pick. Now I'm going to ask the questions. Are you sure about that, EDP? Hold on, EDP. Wait. We got a celebrity in the house. We got we got 2. We got Law Nation, because he's nothing but the best. And we've got EDP. I won't say what EDP usually does because we're going to keep this family friendly. But Eagles, you got the Giants, you got the Redskins, you got the Cowboys, then you play the Rams, the Texans, and the Redskins. Marcellus, you want me to give you a shout out? You got a shout out. You sure that you're going to be able to run the table on that? See, the advantage for the Cowboys is the Redskins have the Eagles, the Giants, the Jags, the Titans, and then the Eagles. So one of those teams is going to knock out the other one. And the Giants have the Eagles, the Bears, the Redskins, Titans, Colts, and Cowboys. I think the Giants are out of the mix. I really think the Giants are done. So really it's going to be, unless the Cowboys implode, which is not beyond imagination, we know how our Cowboys are, it's between the Eagles and the Redskins. And quite frankly, I think I'd like to see the Eagles beat the Redskins next weekend because the Eagles have the Rams, the Texans on there, so you know they're going to lose a couple of those. But we'll see what happens on there. Wang Hu, why would I give you a shout-out when you're always hating on my quarterback? So, no, I'm not giving you a shout-out. But I will give a shout-out to Dylan, to Scott, to Derek, to Tom, to Chaz Jewell, Alex, Victor, EDP, of course, Cowboys Abroad. Funny, I don't see too many of the usual regular haters in here like Jackass. And I got to tell you, man, like I said, I know my quarterback needs work. It's only his 3rd year. But you see flashes of things and potential that he has. And he's seeing his numbers go up consistently. Because right now, as much as you hate him, he's slowly working up the charts. Because at the beginning of the season, when he was throwing 160, 170 yards a game, QBRs 50 and 60 and stuff, his QBR is up to 93.1 right now. And QBR, he's up to 19. I'm not saying that's Hall of Fame or anything, but he's going in the right direction at the right time. Now, here's what bothers me, guys. I'm going to flip up over here. If we are going to be a playoff team, We have to be better at coaching. We got to be better with quarterback. We got to be better with players. We got to get healthy. We need everything all the way around. The problem for our Cowboys is we still are making the same coaching mistakes over and over again. Okay? And I'm watching the game and I'm like, why haven't we learned this stuff? Okay? Now, here it is. We keep getting bad field position. And I got to tell you, I really wish we would kick off more so we get the ball in the second half. I just feel better when we do. Hate getting the ball first. But here we go. This is one of those situations early in the game. We've already scored a touchdown. We're up 7-0. We stopped the Redskins, and then we get the ball down on our 4-yard line. Understand situational football. Sometimes it's better to give up on a series and make sure you live for another day. Okay? And this is one of those. First down. What we got? We ran the ball. We got 1 yard. Okay. I'm okay with saying, you know what? Let's not risk anything. Because if you get a turnover here, it's a pick six. Right? Second down. Here we go. This is where I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm going, what the F are we doing? I'm happy we won, but these are things that you go back and you look and say, these are opportunities or mistakes that you made that could kill you. All right, take a look. Empty backfield. We've got 5 wideouts, okay? And Dak in the shotgun already stepping in the end zone. Understand, if you take a penalty in the end zone, it's a safety. Understand, if you end up getting a sack, you give up a safety. Or if you lose yardage, you've got poor punt position. And if you end up getting an incomplete pass, then you're still tight against here and you're going to give up field position. And of course, my nightmares were pretty close to coming true. Because here it is, Redskins pass rush. Dak barely gets the ball out of the end zone. This is almost identically the same situation that we had against the Redskins a few weeks ago. Now, granted, we weren't behind and needing to hurry up and score, but you remember, we ended up having a fumble in the end zone, and they get points. How have we not learned anything from that? Or am I just crazy and nitpicking? Anybody else think that was kind of taking too much of a chance there? Because it seems like we take chances at the wrong time. How you doing tonight, Sarah, Chaz, Jewel, Mason, Robert A. Mann? Now, fortunately, Zeke gets a run and gives us some breathing room to go ahead and punt the ball. All right. So that's one of the things that I looked back and said, what are we doing? Now, this right here is actually the let me make sure I got the aspect wrong on this. Hang on. Okay. All right. This is, I'm not sure, wait, which play is this? Oh, by the way, this actually wasn't part of the mistakes here. This was actually something this was Dak getting rid of the ball while he's being sacked here. That must be just an early clip in here. I got the wrong clip. So the fact that your quarterback was able to get that out was huge. Okay. All right. This is actually the clip that I wanted to show. Okay, so here it is. It's 1st and goal. 1st and goal on the 4. Dak just made a run play, got out of bounds on the 4-yard line, okay? And there's about 2 minutes left to go in the half. So what you have to say to yourself is, we want to score, and we want to take time off the clock. This is clock management, because if you think back to Green Bay, we score a touchdown, and we're all jubilated. We got this game. And we leave time on the clock. Aaron Rodgers goes down, makes a miracle pass. They kick a field goal. Boom. They beat us. We keep making these same mistakes. So here it is, 1st and goal. Zeke Elliott's been churning up yardage. And if you run, and even if you don't get the touchdown, every time you run, you're going to force them to take a timeout, or you're going to force them to lose time. Okay, so what do we do first down? Now, it's a screen, but they got back there a little quick. The guy is open. Dak makes a pad pass. If Dak makes a pass, he's off his back foot. Dak makes the pass, it's a touchdown. But still, understand this. Even if you make this touchdown, you've taken no time off the clock. They still have timeouts. They got 2 minutes. They have an opportunity to go down the field and score. Ends up being an incomplete pass. So you only take off 7 seconds off the clock. Second play, boom, you're sacked. Third play, screen pass, and you end up kicking the field goal. That is, sorry, you can't do that. You should have come away with a touchdown, and you should have left no time on the clock. Or worst case, you end up kicking the field goal and leaving no time on the clock. The Redskins should not have had an opportunity. And we keep doing the same thing year after year, over and over again, with good old Jason Garrett. Okay, I must be missing the other clip on here. Oh, here it is. Here's the other clip right here. Okay. Now, this is the one that really blows me away because this is fourth down. 4th and inches. All right? Against the Redskins, same mistakes. I'm not. Here, you understand, Albert. I'm nitpicking because you need everything to go your way when you play. You cannot leave time on the clock. You cannot leave points off the board, okay? I'm nitpicking the same way people nitpick about every pass play that Dak Prescott. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to go ahead and take care of these things because points, you are right now on the 33-yard line. You get a first down, you get some more points. And if you're playing the Saints or you're playing the Rams, you have got to keep these drives going. If you want to say I'm nitpicking and not satisfied, no, I'm telling you. These are things that are been repeating and killing us over the years. It's the same stuff. Same stuff. Okay. The problem with this play is it's a foot. If you're a defensive lineman, I don't know how many of you played football and stuff, and it's short yardage, what you are taught to do is penetrate, shoot the gaps, get upfield, move the line of scrimmage back so that way the running back can't get going. Quarterback sneak. Why does it work? Because you have the advantage of knowing when the ball is going to be hiked and I'm going to move before you do. It's got to be right now, quick hitting. Okay? You understand where I'm going with this, right? That's why you always see Tom Brady doing quarterback sneaks all the time, and they're always successful. But what we did was we ended up doing a trap to Zeke. And what happened is, instead of doing a quarterback sneak, they ended up doing a trap where they bring Xavier from the backside to lead block. Okay. Stop it right here. What happened is now, these guys are now reacting. You're bringing the guard from the other side to lead block into the hole. So now you're stepping backwards away from the line, and these guys are penetrating. They're moving the line of scrimmage. If you've done a quarterback sneak, you're going to have momentum going forward. Everything's going backwards and then coming forward. And the Redskins, they got penetration. See how they've moved the line of scrimmage back to here? So by the time Zeke gets the ball and goes forward, he has no opportunity to get this first down. And this goes to, my friends, to coaching. They moved the line of scrimmage back. Oh, okay, hold on. The quarterback is supposed to get us in the right call. You realize that the coach is calling the call from the sidelines. Understand, it's getting a call from Scott Linehan down the headset to Dak Prescott saying, run this. There may be two options on some of the plays, but the calls are coming from upstairs. Don't put this at, oh, it was Dak Prescott's job to change the play. That's what they said they want to run, okay? And I'll continue to let this run. And they have another shot of this. And I watched this, and I'm like, what are we doing? Okay, you see, this is where the hole is supposed to be, and you've got the guard having to go through there and fill. But with the penetration and the time it took, it's just a wrong call. It's a bad call all the way around. They fill the hole. Boom. You got no shot at it. And so this is where this is one of those situations where you got to do better than that. You cannot have that kind of a call. You cannot mess up opportunities, because that should have been at least 3 points. And when we start getting down to crunch time, all these things are important. It's important for Dak Prescott not to throw the ball in the dirt. It's important for the offensive line not to jump off sides or to hold. All of these things add up, and they're the difference between being a good team and a team that's sitting home at the playoffs. And if you're going to criticize the quarterback and say, you got to play better, if you're going to criticize Zeke Elliott and say you're fat and slow, if you're going to criticize and say our defensive backfields aren't, Anthony Brown's not covering people, you also have to look at the coaching. And the coaches cannot make those kinds of mistakes. I understand their offense is prehistoric. It's very simplistic. You don't have that many sets where you're going to change the look of things, where people are going to go ahead and be confused at what you're doing. It's basically, we're going to line up and we're going to beat you type of an offense. I get that. But still, you have to call the right play in the right situation. Now, fortunately, the Redskins turned the ball over, made life easy. But when you look back at the last Redskin game, the same two of these mistakes right here are two mistakes that killed us in that game. And these same mistakes have killed us in the playoffs against Green Bay. And we still haven't learned from it. And that's where we are with coaching. It's great that we got 3 wins. It's great that we're in first place. But let's try and figure out what can we do better to get a better result in the playoffs. So let me acknowledge everybody who's in here. Cowboys Abroad, Cotton. We got the Tecmo Bowl. Wang Hugh, I got to give you credit on that one. That's a good one. We got the Tecmo Bowl playbook. You're right about that. There's Cleveland Brown. There's Robert A. Mann. There's Mason, Dylan, WJ, Nick Blue, Eric Freeman. And that's my point, is when we get a win, it's really easy to say, oh, great, man, we're in great shape. Taco's shoulder still hurt, Robert. I think he's going to be back this week against the Saints, but he's been injured the last 3 weeks. Mark Funknick? Some of you guys with the names, man, I'm sorry. Funknick, I won't forget about you. Anthony, Kevin, Brian Harper, Boomer Center, how you doing, man? Statler Investments, Jack Duncan, Corey, Albert, Truth and Honest Seeker, Victor, Lennox Murphy, Scott Russ. I saw Sarah in here. Cowboys Nation. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Fly, Eagles, fly. You know what, dude? Really? Really, fly, Eagles, fly? Really? I'm not even gonna ingratiate that one with it. You made your name up? Okay, well that explains it. Next time, if you're gonna make one up and you're gonna come on the show, make it one that's easy for me to pronounce, okay? Hoping Irving and Taco play against the Saints. Now, here's what's interesting, and I talked about this in a video that I did when I first got home this evening. Everybody looks at the Saints. They look at the Rams. They look at teams like the Falcons and stuff, and they say, oh, my God, these teams, man, they're so high scoring. Now, the Falcons have kind of imploded a little bit, but when you think about the wide receivers that Atlanta had, Julio Jones is one of the top receivers in the NFL, and going into the game, he was the top receiver yardage-wise in the NFL. You had Sanu. You have Calvin Ridley. You've got Matty Ice, who's, a decent quarterback. They got a big running back, and that offense has been scoring points. Their defense sucks, but their offense is really good. But you saw what our defense was able to do with it. We were able to slow it down. And if you look at our games, the number of plays that we end up having in a game aren't very many because we control the clock. We slow down the tempo. When you run the football, they have less opportunities to get the football. And here's where it gets interesting. And as much as everybody talks about how bad our offense is, you see it getting better on a weekly basis. You're seeing Amari Cooper, and I don't care if Amari Cooper gets 90-yard touchdown passes and it's only a 1-yard play. As long as we're getting touchdowns, I'm happy about getting touchdowns, that we're scoring points. But he is a beast, and he was worth that pick. But when we go through and look at the defenses and the teams that the Saints are beating, because everybody, best team in football, and they probably are the best team, but are they really as good as we think they are when it comes to their offense? Because when you think about them playing Tampa Bay, they beat Tampa Bay 40-32. I'm sorry, they scored 40 points on Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay's defense is the worst defense in the NFL. They're 32nd. 32nd. They beat the Browns. They only scored 21 points on the Browns. The Browns are 25th. The Falcons, 29th. The Giants, 26th. Now, they did get the Redskins that were 6th and the Ravens that were number 1, but they only scored 24 points against the Ravens, which was the top scoring defense in the NFL. You see my point here, guys? We're 3rd in the NFL in scoring defense. They're not going to blow, at least I hope not. Let me not jinx it, but I don't think they're going to do a 50-burger. One, because we'll control the clock and slow the game down. But that defense is playing lights out. Other teams, they played the Vikings at 11th, the Rams at 23rd, the Bengals at 31st, the Eagles at 12th, and the Falcons again at 29th. So if you average that out, those defenses that they've been playing against on a weekly basis, it's 20.45. It's like playing the lower half defense week after week after week. So think about that. When you start looking at the teams that they're beating, they're not playing great defenses week after week. And the same thing with the Rams. The Rams actually played better defenses. They played the Raiders that are 30th, the Cardinals at 17th, the Chargers at 7th, the Vikings 11th, Seahawks at 8, Denver 14th, San Francisco 27th, Green Bay 16th, Saints 13th, Seahawks 8, and Kansas City at 28. So that comes out to 16.27, which they have basically 2 teams in the top 10. As bad as our offense is, guys, think about this. Panthers are one of the worst defenses we play, believe it or not, at 20. The Giants at 26. Seahawks, 8. That's your first top 10 team. Lions, 24th. Texans, 5th in scoring defense. Jags, 9th in scoring defense. Redskins, 6th in scoring defense. Titans, 2nd in scoring defense. Eagles, 12th. Falcons, 29th. And, of course, the Redskins again. That's 6 games we have played against defenses in the top 10 in the NFL. Let me say that one more time in case you guys don't understand this. 6 of our teams, 6 of the games we have played have been against top 10 defenses. That averages out to 13.36. Clearly, we're playing a lot tougher defenses than what the Saints are. Now, hopefully, our offense is a little bit better than what people give us credit for, and hopefully the Saints is a little bit worse than what they get credit for. And maybe somewhere in there we'll kind of meet in the middle. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm stupid. But those are the numbers. So it's something to kind of look at, because it's amazing to me, and the reason why I always start out now the show showing some of the talking heads is the hypocrisy of these guys. 3 weeks ago, Shannon Sharp was basically saying the Cowboys are done, stick a fork in them, Skip Bayless was taking Dak Prescott's jersey, threw it in the trash along with his hat and everything else. So these guys don't know anything more than any of us do. Football is one of those crazy sports that anything can happen. Anything can. And more times than not, these guys are right. If you get a chance, watch the game tonight. High school football, St. John versus Orange. Okay. Probably not going to have a chance to, but I'll try and take a look at that. Thank you. Eagles can't blow. They can only hang. Well, somebody had mentioned that we got to root for the Giants to beat the Eagles. As long as we take care of our business, we're going to be okay. Pat Mahomes looks like Stephen Curry's little brother. Okay. Good night, Mark. There you go. Always a lady. Thank you. Well, good night to you too. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Stephen A. Smith actually loves the Dallas Cowboys because the Dallas Cowboys have made a whole lot of money for Stephen A. Smith. And as much as all these guys talk bad about the Cowboys, they realize that's where the money is. The Dallas Cowboys are what you want to talk about because it's a win-win no matter what you... Hold on, I need to let the dog back in. Somebody let the dog out, nobody let him back in. Come on, Roscoe. There you go, buddy. I just want to know who let the dog out. Yeah, he gave us a C+, but you know what? I don't have too much thoughts on Skip. My package should be there tomorrow. Okay. Well, thank you, AKA J-Ugg. I appreciate that. Stephen A. Smith can go F himself. Here's the thing. If you say the same things about, let's take Matthew Stafford for yesterday. Matthew Stafford throws a pick six. Matthew Stafford throws another interception where they had a chance to get back in the game in the end zone. Anybody talking about it? QBR-wise, Dak Prescott is 93.9. Matthew Stafford is 90.8. We had a lot of people that said, "Oh, I'll take Matthew Stafford over, Dak Prescott. He's a better quarterback." But what has Matthew Stafford ever won? And the Cowboy fan base believe that it's just the quarterback. If the quarterback's great, you will win. Okay. But who's talking about Matthew Stafford throwing a pick in the end zone? Who's talking about Matthew Stafford throwing a pick six? Anybody? Anybody see that? Did I miss it? But see here, Dak Prescott gets a win, rushes for a touchdown through all kinds of traffic, goes against the Washington Redskins defense, which has gotten a turnover every single game this season. The Redskins defense was not, Sister Mary, Children of the Poor, or whatever the name of it is. They're the 6th-rated defense going to that game. 6th-rated defense in the league. Unlike the defenses that the Saints have been playing. They've been hurting people. They haven't been giving up points. We got 31 on them, and we didn't turn over the ball. We're the first team that didn't, and we're 3-1 in our division right now. But here we are. Well, Dak, he's just a C+. He's not a great quarterback. He's throwing 180 yards. No, wait a minute. No, hold on. Wait. Dak's QBR. Let's go through here. Dak's QBR the last 6 games: a 107.5, 96, 99, 102, 86, and 121. The numbers are getting better each week. Consistently, it's working its way up there. He went through that slump, but he's coming out of it. He's still got a lot of work to go. Don't say Mark is just everything Dak does is perfect. No, Dak has some plays that were in the ground. Dak drifts backwards and loses his technique and doesn't play it. But when Dak keeps his mechanics, when he follows his reads, he hits players and does enough to win. But I believe he'll get better, especially if he gets a coach that doesn't do the kind of things we saw here. You can't have situations where you end up making boneheaded play calling. And that's the difference, because very rarely do we see a bunch formation or some things that will confuse defenses. We keep doing the same thing over and over again and just basically saying our talent's going to be better than your talent, so that's what we're going to do. You have a creative coach, that puts you in better position, that calls better plays, gives you a better opportunity. Make no mistake about it. Without Zeke Elliott running this football the way he is, this team's not doing it. But look at 2014. 2014, DeMarco Murray had 1,800 yards. It was the same formula. You had Dez Bryant, who had 1,300 yards, I believe, 16 touchdown catches. It was a balance of all these things. You had great players. We didn't have any great wide receivers on this team. You had a bunch of guys. But you needed somebody to bring it together. And it's the same formula the Cowboys have had. The only piece that's really missing now on that offense is the go-to tight end, the security blanket. And if they could get that guy, a lot of times when the play's breaking down and you see Dak is kind of trying to buy some time and he's looking around, that's where a Jason Witten comes in handy. Because you do your first and second read, nobody's there, let me just get rid of it because I know that guy is a sure guy. And that's what's missing on this offense. So, DeMarco Murray trader. Robert, you know what? I ain't mad at a player for wanting to get paid because the Cowboys, they didn't exactly, he did not want to go to Philly. He just about begged them, but they basically offered him chump change. And your time in the NFL is very, very short. You got to get paid as much as you can pay because a lot of times your body is so screwed up, there is nothing else you can do the rest of your life. I ain't mad at him. It wasn't like the Cowboys said, here's a big pile of money, and he said, F you, and walked away. At some point, you got to say, listen. He kept calling, Jerry, can we work something out? And they're like, thanks, but no thanks. They lowballed him. So, that is what it is, but I'm not mad at him. And the thing that drives me crazy, and I'm trying to figure out if the trolls are really Cowboy fans or if they're just people that want to just come in and get attention. Because I look at this team. Last year we had better hopes after coming through in the playoffs and losing to Green Bay. You wanted to do well last year. Everybody thought we were going to do well. But we still ended up 9-7. Not great, but not awful. So far this season, we still have a chance. We are still alive. It's not pretty, but we're 6-5. We're on top of our division. And yet people are still pissed off and talking about how bad we are. And the year before that, we're 13-3. But think back to 2011, 8-8. 2012, 8-8. 2013, 8-8. Then we had 2014, 12-4, and then 4-12. It's the last 6 years of basically Tony Romo's career. One winning season. That's it. At least, you still had a chance last year of making the playoffs. You were in the playoffs the year before. You got a good chance of making the playoffs this year. And yet, people are still like, oh, we suck. You know what? We may suck, but we suck. Don't suck so much that we might make it to the playoffs. And once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. No, he does not, Scott. What do I not do, Scott? Santana Cotton? What is it I don't do? I missed that. The NFL doesn't have pay structure like the NBA, and players have less pay. Oh, well, here's the thing. You see those really big contracts, with the exception of now the guaranteed ones, and that's why the NFL is trying to go for guaranteed ones. Because, let's say hypothetically, Alex Smith was on a one-year deal or on a franchise tag. Redskins just say bye-bye, and he could maybe never play again. At least you're going to get paid, at least for the future and stuff. And even though you see all these big contracts, very rarely do you see the player actually make the whole amount of money on those contracts. They're usually gone well before it. Hey, Law Nation, if you have time, man, give me a buzz in here because I would love to talk about Cowboys experience and your experience this week and what it was like on the sidelines. Guys, I'm going to be going to the Dallas Cowboys Eagle game, and I'm going to be there with Cowboys experience, and it's going to be off the chain. If you go to the Law Nation's YouTube channel or his Twitter feed, you'll see some of the pictures and things with him hanging out and doing interviews with Drew Pearson on the sidelines and everything else. This is going to be the bomb. I can't wait to get there and hang out and see our team because, again, hopefully it'll be a better experience than we had last year against the Eagles, where the Eagles came in and kicked our ass. I'm hoping that we can kick theirs in there and keep these haters on the run. Can I meet Mark and get some Jobu wings? Sure, that's not a problem. All right, we got Law Nation coming up. Trent Williams is suspended. Well, he was in the hospital actually last night. And
Hello.
he likes to smoke weed as well. But it's funny that people don't talk about him smoking weed. Let me see if I got Law Nation. Can you hear me, Law?
We might have some audio difficulties, man.
What?
Let me see if I can fix this up. You sound like the Chipmunks right now to me.
I sound like the Chipmunks? Okay, wait, let me try that. Is that better? You sound great to me.
All right, so let me see if I can hang up and call you back.
Okay, all right, not a problem.
All right.
Okay, that's Law
It's
Nation.
weird on my end.
He said I
Let me see if I
sounded
can
like
hang
a
up and call you
chipmunk,
back.
and maybe I am a chipmunk tonight. Okay, so he's going to call me back. Let's see if we get that straightened out. Let's see. My Sooners going to play in Texas for the Big 12 championship. That's tough. Okay. NFL's new trio, Dez. How you got Dez? You mean Dak, right? Dak, Amari, and Zeke. Oh, Dak. Okay, gotcha. All right, let's see if that cleared it up for you.
It did, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
That must have been on your end, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably was, man. Let's snafu. I was studying film on.
I didn't realize the last time when you called in, I didn't have my camera on in there. So I guess you didn't get to see me. Actually, that probably was better for your appetite. So how are you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm doing great.
I know you are.
We number one in the division, man.
And you know what? The fans still aren't happy.
I know, right?
I'm just like, are you kidding me? Now, and then I don't know how long you've been watching, but I was going through and I was trying to point out some of the things that worry me as a Cowboy fans, where we still have mistakes in coaching that we need to address. I mean, we got things where we can improve all the way around, but when we were first down on our 4-yard line, and here it is, we're passing empty backfield and got Dak Prescott in the end zone. That's almost the same play that we lost to the Redskins on, where he ended up having the strip fumble and ended up being a touchdown. And I'm just kind of pointing out to people that, because we were like, oh, well, Jason Garrett's still a great coach. Look at the team's doing great. And I'm like, pump the brakes a little bit. We still have things that we need to do better. And maybe I'm just nitpicking, or maybe I just don't like Jason Garrett. But do you see some of those same things?
Yeah, man, they still doing the same thing. And what I'm hearing from the, I guess, the major outlets, people that's close within the organization, is that this is Scott Linehan's last year.
It's got to be.
Man, it's got to be. They're going to keep Jason Garrett. He got the control of the locker room.
Yeah. But
yeah.
We got to get a real offensive coordinator.
Right, we do. Do what got you there, man. You got one of the greatest, I guess, young running backs out there. Do what got you there. Run the ball, run it with the rock, get into that I formation, pistol formation, power I, and just smash that thing in there.
All right. Odell Beckham Jr. In here definitely showing you lots of love. He's making sure he showed you pretty much a lot of love. The Cowboys experience, man. You are having a ball, I see out there, man.
Oh, yeah, and it's going to get better because you're going to be at the one with the Filthy, right? When we play against Filthy.
Yeah, Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles. Me and Michael are going to be down there for that one, man. I cannot wait. Michael, it was so funny because I was upstairs working on my computer and stuff, and Michael is coming upstairs like, man, oh my God, look what Vosh is doing. Oh my God, look what Law Nation. He's hanging out with all these guys and everything. I was like, I got it, Mike. I got it. He's like, I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go. And you see, I got my book over here too, Emmitt Smith.
Yes, indeed.
This is coming, of course, with that whole event, man, and I can't wait. I've got to catch up with Emmitt Smith and see if I can get this thing signed. So if you guys are interested in going and hanging out with me and Law, check out Cowboys Experience. But what's your takeaways from this game? How do you feel about this team? Do you think this team is ready to actually rock and roll, or are we just going to sneak into the playoffs?
I mean, it's one of the things where if we win a division, we get a home playoff game, right? Mm-hmm. and I'm saying if we win the division, but I'm saying that here we can win division. It's all in the mix for us. All we got to do, even though we're playing against a formidable team, the Saints, all we got to do is make that game competitive. I think that even if a close win or a close loss, it would still give us hope, and that's all we need.
Well, you remember when I was telling you about the defenses that, like the Falcons were playing? Remember I added up the defensive rankings, and I kind of told you that the defenses we've been playing basically average out to 13?
No. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember now, yeah.
Before the Atlanta game, we were talking about that, and I was like, the Atlanta Falcons, their offense scores a lot of points, but the defenses they've been playing haven't been that great. And I did the same thing with the Saints. And they have only played 2 defenses in the top 10 all season. And more times than not, they've been playing teams. Let me pull back up because I want to make sure I have it right. They have been playing some of the worst defenses in the NFL. Tampa Bay's 32nd, the Browns 25th, the Falcons 29th, and they played the Falcons twice.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants at 26th, the Rams at 23rd, the Bengals at 31st. The best defenses they played are the Redskins, which are 6th, and the Ravens. Other than that, nobody inside the top 10. So if you average it out, it comes out to almost 21. So I'm not saying that their offense isn't great and churning it out, but they haven't faced the Dallas Cowboys defense that's going to be coming after them.
Yes, indeed. And then out of those teams, we have to look back and maybe do some homework on which teams are run first teams too. So I think that we are a run first team. We can punch them in the mouth. We did that with Atlanta. That game, we should have beat Atlanta a little bit better than what we did.
Yeah.
But we allowed, Atlanta to sneak back in. And as well as the last game. We supposed to just dog whoop the Redskins, but we let them back in.
See, again, another one of those things that drove me crazy was in the end of the first half, you get a first down on the 4-yard line, and you want to try and score, but you don't want to leave any time on the clock. We had about 1:54, I think, to go in the half.
Right.
First play ends up being a pass play. We take a sack. No, I'm sorry. Incomplete pass. Second play ends up being a sack. Third play is a screen, and you end up taking off basically 20 seconds on the clock and give the Redskins an opportunity to try and score. Turns out the defense stopped them, but we keep making those same mistakes. We did that stuff with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, 50 seconds, he goes downfield, scores, and beats you. We can't make those same kind of mistakes. That's what drives me crazy with Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan. There's these same stupid mistakes over and over again.
Yeah, it's crazy in a sense because we just don't do what it needs to be done to have that killer instincts. We just don't have it.
And that's where we ended up letting Matty Ice last week get back into the game and have opportunities, but the defense stepped up, and you actually let the Redskins get a little bit and get opportunities in here as well. You can't do that with an Aaron Rodgers. You can't do that with a Sean Payton coach team as well. You have got to step on these guys' throats and blow them the hell out.
Yes, indeed. And we saw a glimpse of this before when we played against the Detroit. You remember they almost came back.
Yeah.
It took a Maher kick, to win it.
Exactly. And if we had done better against the Texans in overtime or against the Redskins, a couple of these little mistakes, all of a sudden our record looks totally different, and the conversation is totally different from people saying, yeah, they'll sneak into the playoffs, but, they've got no chance. But it's like, they keep saying we got no chance every week, don't they?
Yeah, they say we got no chance, and then they say this is the other thing. It is just crazy to me. We never fall back and say, okay, this team finally won a game off a sure will. There's always something, right? This time they're saying, well, look at the Cowboys. Yeah. They are 6-5, but they only beat one team that's above 500, which is the Redskins, and they trash, blase, blase, blase. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, they never, ever, 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 ever say that when Tom Brady get to play the Jets twice a year, Miami Dolphins twice a year, right, when he get to play the Bills twice a year, whatever, Right. Never brings up the fact that how horrible that division is, but Tom Brady is Tom Brady, though,
Of course. I mean, they've got 6 gimmies every year. But even like in talking about Dak, if you looked at this is the different thing that's funny, and all the talking heads are always talking about the Cowboys. But if you did you watch the Bears Lions game yesterday?
Yeah, I saw that.
Matthew Stafford, pick 6, right? Matthew Stafford, interception in the end zone. Is any of the talking heads talking about Matthew Stafford today?
He goes unscathed, He goes unpunished.
But and even with Skip, I only give him a C+ yesterday. Well, damn. You know what? He missed some plays. I 100% said he missed some plays. He lost his technique a couple of times. He was shaky there in the second quarter, but he righted it in the second half. And of course, they say, well, Amari Cooper did all the work on that stuff. He got it. It was only a 10-yard pass play, so you can't really count that. I'm like, how many of Jerry Rice's touchdowns do we take away from Joe Montana because they were a slant that was 10 yards downfield they took to the house?
Man, and then West Coast offense, for those who know West Coast offense, the ball don't travel more than 10 yards in the air. Right. It literally is bubble screens and little dinks and dunks. That's what West Coast offense is about.
Joe Montana's arm was not a deep arm. Joe Montana was not throwing deep. And the same thing actually about Tom Brady. Very rarely is Tom Brady going down deep, but that 80% think that every pass is supposed to be 40 yards downfield and a completion. And if you're not doing it, then you're just garbage.
Yes, and I think the 90-yard play that Amari Cooper, AC, the refrigerator almost out there. Oh, he's so cool. I got to think of a nickname for him. AC is what I'm going for right now. That ball traveled in the air for over 35 yards, and then he took the rest.
Now, you know that he was not the primary receiver on that. Cole Beasley was actually the primary, and Dak changed it up. Dak looked at it, and he changed it over and ended up hitting him for that play. But nobody gonna give him credit for that.
No.
That's okay.
No.
As long
he's trash. He's trash.
And of course, people will just say you just love Dak Prescott. But listen, all I know is everybody left us for dead.
Right.
We're in first place right now. Every week we hear, oh, well, you're not going to beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. And I still hear people say that the Eagles are still the best team in the division and that they'll probably win.
Stephen A. Smith, yeah.
But I'm sitting here with, wait a minute, the Eagles, the rest of their schedule. Have you looked at the schedule for everybody else in our division?
Oh, yeah. I was saying that we had the fat end of our schedule on the front end.
Yeah. The Eagles still have the Rams and the Texans. Of course, they got us still. They got the Redskins twice still. And the Redskins have the Giants, the Jags, the Titans, and the Eagles. So, and the Giants, of course, I still think the Giants are done. They've got the Eagles this weekend. They've got the Bears. They got the Redskins, the Titans, the Colts, and then us. I think the Giants don't have any chance. And I think
the Giants said they're going to run the table.
Yeah, okay, and they still believe in Santa Claus too. The Redskins and Eagles, they're going to knock one of them's going to knock the other one out, and so we almost need to implode. I know we got this game with the Saints that's going to be hell, but I'm not counting this game as a loss, at least not yet.
Oh, man. We can give keys to how we can win against the Saints. You may want to save it to your Monday show.
We can do that. Hopefully David Irving is supposed to be back. We know Tyron Smith has that stinger, and that was a last-minute scrub on him. But they're talking about him being back. And I think Taco may be he practiced a little bit this week, didn't play, so maybe he'll be back. So if we can get a few more of those defensive linemen in that rotation and get some more pressure on, I think that could be huge.
Yeah, the key to Drew Brees is just man, he's not the tallest quarterback in life. And of course, he can run out of the pocket, but he loves the pocket. And if we can get the David Irvins of the worlds and then Malik Collins to stay healthy and to play in the inside, man, oh, man, oh, man. You know, those passing lanes, David Irvin can just barely hold his hands up and they blocked. So we just need him to be out there, man, regardless of the situation.
I don't know that he's faced that pressure like we've got right now yet this season. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's definitely going to be a rough game, but, you know, I'm not going to say the Cowboys don't have any chance. But then again, you know, they're going to say I'm a homer. But I'm going to ask you one last question here. We know we are challenged, at least I believe we're challenged with the coaching staff, with Scott Linehan and Kellen Moore. If you took Dak Prescott under a Sean Payton or a McVay or another coaching staff, how do you think he would be actually in a different system with another coach?
I mean, you'll see a more efficient model of Dak Prescott. The thing is, let's look at it from the Lincoln Riley guy. Kyle Murray was a guy that was supposedly just been washed up. He goes out there to OU and Oklahoma, I meant to say, and he was able to just elevate this guy. He's 5'9" for crying out loud, 5'10". And what changed? The coaching staff is able to put the player in the right position, and we already know what Baker Mayfield was able to do under Lincoln Riley. So when you have a coach who can identify with your strengths and understand your weaknesses, then they can put you in situations that's favorable for you. Meaning that when you're in the red zone, money zone, green zone, you do not drop back in shotgun to pass. You give your quarterback options. Maybe you do more play action bootlegs, do wiggles, put them out on the run to roll. Maybe you can have Ezekiel Elliott to flank out to the inside instead of just always doing it out to the outside. There's so many things that we can look at this team from an offensive aspect of it and say that, okay, that can change. Even if you look at the defense. What changed from last year to this year? The tenacity, the mindset, Chris Richard, get into the face of the opposition, get into the face of the players. That's all changing. Although we love what Rob Marinelli does out there on the field, but one can argue the fact that this defense is hungry. They're aggressive because it all changed from coaching. You can do the same thing if you put in an offensive-minded coach, even though Jerry Jones loved his son, Jason Garrett. Okay, we understand that. We can keep Jason Garrett if he makes him happy. We just need to go out there and get a real offensive coordinator. Don't see. Yeah.
And that's yesterday. I kept looking. The Redskins had tremendous pressure yesterday. And they kept trying to do the 7-step dropbacks, and I'm kind of like, why aren't we trying to do more quick hitting, 3 yards and let it rip? I mean, 3-step dropbacks and let it rip. You know, the slants and things across the middle to Cole Beasley to kind of negate that pass rush. We needed to do more play action, and that's where, you know, play calling is hamstringing the Cowboys because you've got these slow developing plays, and Dak is not that comfortable yet being back there on those 7-step dropbacks. You see him when he's doing play action, when he's doing no huddle, hurry up offense, that he seems more comfortable, yet we don't do a whole lot of that. Now, the other thing I was happy to at least see, they didn't actually throw the ball to him, but they had Rico actually out there doing a lot of blocking yesterday.
Yes. That big rollout play was 13 personnel. It looks like it was a heavy run pursuit, and that was a good play by them. The other thing that I saw too was with this offense, which is always giving nightmares. It always makes me crazy. It makes me crazy, Mark, man. I was sitting there like, man, this particular offense, remember, guys, everybody that's in the chat box, everybody was tweeting and everybody was texting, this game is boring. It didn't get live until like 13 when the Redskins, Foreskins, Deadskins, when they got up 13-10. That's when I said, okay, they finna open up the playbook now.
Yeah, and they did, and all of a sudden, boom, and you saw Amari Cooper, and it's been my thing all along that Amari Cooper was worth the risk for that #1 pick because we were going to have to get a wide receiver next year regardless. We just did not have a playmaker out there, so you had to draft one. And as good as Calvin Ridley has been thus far this year with great wide receivers around him and a great quarterback, you wouldn't get what you're getting already from Amari Cooper, I don't think, from a guy in the draft. There's people yesterday that are still saying he's still paid too much for him. Well, I'm looking at the numbers on offense all the way around are so much better. Dak Prescott's QBR, 121 yesterday. It's going through the roof. Zeke Elliott is turning up the ball. And even with the offensive line did not play that great yesterday with Tyron Smith not in there.
But they played serviceable enough. That front four against the Redskins, it's a nasty front four.
Oh, they are.
It's nasty,
They are.
you know.
But we got to win, so that's all great. So did you enjoy Thanksgiving, man?
Man, I enjoyed it. I should be 5 pounds heavier now, man. You know, I ate so much.
I'm hoping it's only 5 pounds for me. Shoot. I'm about to go get some leftovers right now. So.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. But, guys, I want to thank everybody for being part of the Joe Booth Sports Report tonight. It's 10 o'clock. I just got back home about 2 hours ago, so it's kind of a little worn out here. But we'll be back Monday night getting ready for another short week with the Cowboys versus the Saints. And any news on the Dallas Cowboys, guys, you know I'm going to bring it to you. Law Nation, tell everybody where to find you, man.
Guys, follow me on Facebook and also Instagram, Twitter under the Laws Nation, as well as YouTube under LAW Nation. And I also have a podcast that's LAW Nation. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for the support and the love. You guys know I feel you. Silver and Blue Nation all day. And remember,
Amen.
You're listening to nothing but the best as well.
All right. So, guys, remember, Cowboys experience. I'm going to be at the Eagles game. Oh, man, I'm going to be at the Eagles game, man. And we're going to have a ball. I'm hoping that we can see you guys there. We'll have the autograph signing on Saturday. We know Drew Pearson will be there. I'm not sure, you know who the players are going to be yet, or is it a little too far in advance?
Let's do this then. We got enough time to do requests. We can request Joe Looney again, Gallup, Awuzie, Jeff Heath kind of like this deal. I think Cole Beasley for sure. His producer saying that he's going to be there. So we can just do some requests. You put in the chat box. Who do you guys want to be at there? You know what I mean?
All right, so I'll do a video and stuff on there, and so that way we'll put a poll and see which players we want to try and get all the information and stuff on there. But guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you all.